Good morning and welcome to UGTP. Before we settle in, here are the headlines moving the next 36 hours. The U.S. Commerce Department has lifted export controls on Anthropic's Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5 models. Anthropic said it will begin restoring access today, July 1st, ending a 3-week suspension that began June 12th over national security concerns. Anthropic launched Claude Sonnet 5, now the default model for every free and pro user worldwide. It performs near the flagship Opus 4.8 on many tasks, at a fraction of the cost. Qualcomm unveiled its Dragonfly line of AI data center chips, designed to challenge NVIDIA by ditching expensive high-bandwidth memory in favor of stacked low-powered DRAM, TSMC, SK Hynix, and Samsung stand to gain. The United Nations released the first-ever global scientific assessment of AI, warning that AI capabilities are outpacing safeguards and could cause catastrophic harm. Co-chair Yoshua Benjo said science cannot guarantee safety as capabilities grow. Those are the headlines. Now, the story behind the story. I'm your host, and this is UGTP, the calm, clear breakdown of what's happening across artificial intelligence, computing, and energy. Today is Wednesday, July 1st. And today, a chapter that began in crisis quietly closes. The export controls that locked away two of the world's most advanced AI models, they're lifted. The gates are opening. Let's walk through what that means together. Let's start with the headline. On Tuesday, Anthropic announced that the U.S. Department of Commerce has lifted export controls on its Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5 models. Restoration begins today, July 1st. This ends a saga that began June 12th, when the government forced Anthropic to suspend the models over national security concerns, the first time export controls were used directly against AI models rather than chips. On June 26th, Mythos 5 was partially restored to critical infrastructure defenders. Now, both models are cleared for broader redeployment. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick's letter said Anthropic has agreed to proactively detect security risks, work with the government on release protocols for future models, and inform officials of any malicious activity. So this isn't a return to the old normal. It's a new model where frontier labs coordinate with governments before wide releases. The gates opened, but the guardrails stayed. And as those gates open, Anthropic is also pushing a brand new model out to everyone. Claude Sonnet 5 launched on June 30th and became the default model for every free and pro Claude user starting today. The pitch is simple. It's the most capable Sonnet ever built, performing close to the flagship Opus 4.8 on many tasks, but at a fraction of the cost. Anthropic's framing is direct. It can make plans, use tools like browsers and terminals, and run autonomously at a level that, just months ago, required larger, far more expensive models. The pricing matters. At an introductory rate of $2 per million input tokens and 10 for output, it actually costs less than the previous Sonnet 4.6 through the end of August. This is Anthropic's answer to enterprises who recoiled from ballooning AI bills earlier this year. Frontier-level agents at a price that keeps the math working. But even as the models spread wider, the loudest warning yet about their risks arrived today. The United Nations released the first-ever global, independent scientific assessment of artificial intelligence. The report, from a panel of 40 experts led by AI pioneer Yoshua Benjo, is sobering. It says AI capabilities are outpacing both scientific understanding and governments' ability to adapt. And it warns that, with growing evidence of deceptive AI behavior, science currently cannot guarantee that as capabilities keep rising, AI will not cause catastrophic harm. Secretary General Antonio Guterres was blunt. "The science is here," he said. "We can no longer say we did not know." The panel expects a rapid shift toward agentic AI that carries out real-world tasks and says safeguards are not keeping pace. It's a reminder that opening the gates on powerful models while the world is still building the guardrails is exactly the tension defining this moment. Now to the hardware, where a new challenger is taking a very different swing at the throne. Qualcomm unveiled its Dragonfly line of AI data center chips, designed specifically to challenge NVIDIA. The design philosophy is the interesting part. NVIDIA's dominance is built on high-bandwidth memory, or HBM, the most expensive and scarce component in AI systems today. Qualcomm's Dragonfly ditches HBM entirely, instead stacking low-power DRAM chips directly on top of a logic die. It's a bet that you can serve AI workloads efficiently without the most contested chips on Earth. And it's a sign of where the market is heading. The first half of 2026 was the best half year ever for AI chip stocks, with the semiconductor index up over 100% and SK Hynix surging more than 250%. When one architecture dominates that completely, the incentives to find alternatives become enormous. Dragonfly is the latest, but it won't be the last. Finally, the power to run all of this. The consensus across the energy sector is hardening around one answer for data centers: clean, firm power. And two deals this week show what that looks like in practice. Advanced nuclear developer X Energy advanced a 6-gigawatt partnership with the UK's Centrica, one of the largest small reactor commitments yet. And Google partnered with Form Energy on a 30-gigawatt-hour iron-air battery system at its Pine Island data center in Minnesota, the kind of long-duration storage that could let a data center ride through the gaps when the sun and wind go quiet. Nuclear for the base load, batteries for the bridge. That's the emerging architecture. So that's the shape of the day. The gates on two of the most powerful AI models opened, even as the UN warned the world still can't guarantee their safety. A new default model reached every user. A challenger took a swing at the chip throne, and the power grid raced toward nuclear and batteries to feed it all. The thread through every story is the same. AI is opening up, spreading wider, faster than the guardrails can follow. If this helped, subscribe so tomorrow's breakdown lands in your feed. Drop a comment on the story you want us to go deeper on. I'm your host. This has been UGTP. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you tomorrow.